Hi, Julie. Okay, so I did this eyebrow already, so I'm gonna do this one for you. This one's a little bit thicker, like right under here. So I need to fill this in. This is like a basic principle. I've already put a little bit of brow gel just kind of in there to set that shape that I really like. Can you kind of see that? There we go. Start off with some random eyebrow pencil, some brow pomade. This one's from Anastasia. The reason I like this one is because it's more smudge resistant. So pick up a little bit. Make sure you close the cap because it's gonna dry out if you don't. And then you can see it's already on my hand from the other one. But I'm just going to do this little number and make sure I get it on both sides so it gets like really, really sharp. Brush that through. I'm first gonna line on the bottom, pull that product up, line on the top, pull that product down, and then fill it in. That's how you avoid looking really bold with your brows. So I'm just gonna take a mirror, wipe it on my jeans because it's dirty. Any kind of angled brush like this, you always want to pull instead of like pushing it because that's gonna give you like a skipped line kind of look. If you pull it, it'll be a lot smoother. So what I'm gonna do is find like the area where my hairs are most dense and start in the beginning of my iris and then pull that forward. And this brush, for some reason, it tends to separate the more you use it, and I don't recommend it. So maybe something a little bit more synthetic instead of natural. And then I'm gonna skip here, and this is where I need to build a little bit farther down because this brow is really bold. So I'm gonna more do so here. And then you can always clean up so you don't have to worry about it like being too crazy. So now I'm gonna have a beginning and an end point. I'm just gonna push on my brow bone to get that really soft look. I will have to move away and deviate from where my hairs naturally are, just like that. And that line is really fuzzy, so I'm gonna clean that up with concealer, which I will show you in a second. But everything I have here, I'm gonna start pushing that up, not really towards the front. I'll work on that later as I have less product on my brow. Oops, I just messed that up. It's okay, I can conceal it. Okay, so don't worry about the density of the brow just yet, just getting the shape down. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more from my hand and we're still going to make that really, really thin. And then for the top, I like working backwards. So from the bottom, I'll do this part, then this part, then the middle. On the top, I'll do this part, and then this part, and then the middle. Does that kind of make sense, I guess? So I'm gonna lay it down parallel to how my hairs are laying. And just at the top of the arch, I'm gonna pull that down. Kind of be careful not to pull it down too far. And then sharpen that up a little bit more. And then here, I'm gonna start kind of right on top of my pupil, so right around there. Because I've been trying to do a little bit less of an intense brow and not touch this front upper part, because that looks a little bit less intense, especially when I'm just wearing foundation. If I were to include these little hairs that I haven't plucked, you're gonna get a completely different eyebrow shape that you're not used to seeing. So wherever the hair is most densely laid, that's where you're gonna be putting it. I'm just gonna push on my brow bone and not change how I'm holding the brow brush. I'm not going like this and then turning it and bringing it down. Just going like that. So it'll create that arch, and then you're gonna pull all of that product down. Whatever you have on your brush and on your brow already is fine. This will end up laying down all your brush hair, so it's gonna look a little bit like it's not full of life like it is right now. So you can go back with any spoolie and just brush that through. I'm gonna take any concealer. This is like my MAC palette in medium. They have 3 other ones: light, medium, which is this one, medium dark, and then like a deep or something. I'm gonna take any concealer brush, but I like this one. This is the MAC 212. I like it because it's really flat, so I'll get that really sharp line. So I'm gonna take the lightest color just because I want this to be my highlight when I move on to my eyeshadow. Is start kind of right here and go back and forth in a straight line until it meets up with the bottom of my brow. This is just gonna make it a lot straighter And then I like skipping the arch and going right to that tail. This is where I'm going to start erasing what I already have. I'll make really small, feathery lines so I'm kind of confident of how it looks. Okay, good. So I have that shape down. That made me nervous. And then all that extra concealer I have, I'll start to bring it down so it'll create the highlight for my brow and my eyeshadow, and also give that appearance of a lift. And this will also help cover any little brow hairs that you have forgotten to pluck. I haven't plucked my eyebrows in years, only the ones that are like obvious stragglers, like right in here. But you can always create your own eyebrow shape just by using a concealer. You don't want to use like a foundation underneath your brows, because that's not going to be heavy enough to cover any of the really dark brow hair, especially if you're like brunette or black hair. So I'm going to take some random fluffy brush. This is an eyeshadow brush, but it's fluffy enough to, oh, was a mirror. Just blend that out. And then for the top, I'll take a different one because this brush will be a little bit too hard to like carve all that out. So I'm going to take a curved concealer brush, really thin but dense. Then I'm going to take more of a foundation color, but still a concealer. I'll kind of start higher. Let's see if you can see this as I'm doing it. And then I'll slowly start to bring it down until it lines up with this area back here, not so much up here, because I didn't put any product there. So this is going to create that front square. I like it a little bit more square than round. I feel like that looks more natural on me. That kind of depends on other people. I'll do the top. I'll skip the arch and go to that tail. And this will pull that product to create that really sharp line. And you can always take that away with your finger if you want to. I kind of like it right there. And I'm going to push with whatever is left onto my arch by pushing my brow bone so I get to that really natural curve. If you were to build any of your brow, if you want it to be a little bit thicker, you would do so more like in here and up here. If you were to do it here, it's gonna look really unnatural. And I'm just gonna blend this guy. And then I'm going to start working on that front with very little product on my brush. I'm not picking up any extra. Right in here. Very light strokes upward. And I'll kind of like match it into here. Then I'll turn it from this to this. And square that guy out very carefully. So I'll do this little trick, pull it up like this, so if it looks like one continuous brow, I feel like that's a really good indication that it looks even. Just messed up my foundation. You can set this with any kind of brow gel that looks like this. It's pretty much hairspray for your brows. Looks like this. Just want to flick it in the direction that your hairs grow already. Ooh, that totally exposed some lack of color, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. Let me talk to you about mediums for eyebrows. This was a gel, a pomade. The only one I really like is from Anastasia. This one I got in gratis. But this one is gonna be more water resistant, and it's really good for if you want a strong brow like this, or you can make it a little bit more natural by just doing the bottom and filling it upward. A pencil and a powder are going to give you really natural looking eyebrows. You can outline with the pencil, fill in with the powder, whatever you want, and then clean up with, if you don't have any concealer, just take foundation. Yes?